Well, we just heard from Isaac from the economic business development, small business development in the county of Broward County. Now we're back again with Miss Donna Young. Miss Donna Young will be coming to us by way of Broward County's foreign trade zone number 25. She had joined that organization in 1998 as a warehouse assistant. She assisted numerous zone users under the direction and the operation of the zone's Mr. Robert Jacob. As time passed, she became an administrative coordinator for the office of became the liaison with U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Donna hails from Kingston, Jamaica, where she worked at Davin Corporation, an import and export company that manufactured garments. She graduated from the College of Arts, Science, and Technology with a diploma in secretarial science and business administration. I'd like to, without further ado, bring to you Miss Donna Young from Port Everglades Department, Foreign Trade Zone number 25.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. I want to thank everyone for being here today. And I would just like to tell you about the Foreign Trade Zone. The Foreign Trade Zone program was created by the US Congress in 1934. The FTZ Act was intended to expedite and encourage foreign commerce and to better meet the needs of the American companies. This act allows the foreign trade zones as secured areas within the United States in or near a U.S. Customs port of entry under the supervision of CBP, where foreign and domestic merchandise is considered to be outside of the U.S. Customs territory. There are two key players in the FTZ program: the Foreign Trade Zone Board and U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Our Foreign Trade Zone was established in 1976 and was the first general purpose operating zone in Florida. Um, just to tell you a little about what we can do in a foreign trade zone. Um, Merchandise can be stored, displayed, tested, sampled, repaired, cleaned, salvaged, destroyed, relabeled, repackaged, manipulated, assembled, and manufactured. For the manufacturing part, the user must have special approval from the FTZ board. Now, all retail sales are prohibited in the foreign trade zone. Once a site has been granted a zone status, you may not start zone activity until the site has been approved by US Customs, and it will remain under their supervision for the duration of your tenure with the foreign trade zone. What is in it for me? That's the question some of you will be asking. Firstly, you will have relief of inverted taxes on imports. That is, in the foreign trade zone production, imported component items or your raw material can have a higher duty rate than the finished product. The FTZ board may allow the manufacturer to apply the lower finished product duty rate. This is a major benefit for operating in a foreign trade zone, as the duty rate for many finished products is zero. And this eliminates any costs associated with the duties on raw materials. Our FTZ is located within the International Logistics Center at 3423 McIntosh Road in Fort Lauderdale, where we have 27 sites within Broward County and 7 subzones within the port's boundaries. These subzones, the majority are petroleum products. One second, I'm not seeing my slide. Okay. Our foreign trade zone, we do not just our foreign trade zone, but foreign trade zones at least 6.6 billion in total activity. On my next slide, we're going to talk about relief from inverted taxes. Okay. I think I just told you about that with the production. So we're moving on to inventory controls. By bringing goods into your foreign trade zone warehouse that you manage, you can track and control your inventory more closely. We provide an ICRS system, which is an inventory control and record keeping system. The one we use is Integration Point, operated by Thomson Reuters, which is approved by CBP and is operated under the FIFO system, first in, first out, which our staff operates and oversees. As an FTZ user, you are required to meet certain security standards, as many companies are already meeting these requirements by incorporating fences, ID cards, cameras, and more. Also, unlike the 5-year limit on bonded warehouses, we offer indefinite storage. Also, if your product is subject to quota restrictions, you can hold your quota restricted merchandise in the foreign trade zone until it is entered into the U.S. commerce without falling under quota restrictions. Duty exemption. FTZs can eliminate duties in the following areas. Re-exports. You are only required to pay customs duties when the goods are transferred into U.S. commerce, U.S. territory. However, if the goods never enter the U.S. commerce, no customs duties is ever due. Re-exporting into foreign country is completely duty-free. So you bring your merchandise in without paying any duties. It comes straight from the seaport or the airport into your warehouse. It's received, it's approved by customs, and you re-export it without having any duty issues. Waste and scrap. There's no duty owed on goods destroyed or scrapped in the foreign trade zone. This can benefit a company who has fragile imports and manufacturers that result with large amounts of scrap. So your waste you destroy, you don't have to pay any duties on that. Zone to zone transfers. Most companies focus on exports with the FTZ, but you can also transfer goods from one foreign trade zone to another without any duties being paid. So if we are in Port Everglades and we want to send something down to Miami 5201 port or wherever there's another foreign trade zone, you can make that transfer without paying any duties on those products. Duty deferral. FTZs allows the most duty deferral on any customs program in the US. Because we're not considered part of the US customs territory, no duty payment is required on merchandise at the time of entry, as I said before. This payment is deferred until the goods are removed from the FTZ and entered into the commerce of the United States. So if you have some merchandise that you imported, it's in the foreign trade zone, and there is a customer who would like to purchase some of that merchandise to go into their stores, at that point, you would pay the duties on what you are sending to that particular customer. Supply chain management, FTZ reporting requirements offer a unique perspective of your company's supply chain. By leveraging your ICRS, you can gain full visibility in your supply chain. You can see where your goods came from, who brought it to the United States and to the warehouse, receipt information, your inventory processing, and shipping to the end customer, the end user. You also have the visibility of product information, your classification, and total landed costs are also part of the ICRS tracking and reporting capability that we have. It offers full traceability from receipt to your shipment, all at the click of a button. Okay, why should you listen to us? Why should you listen to me? Our foreign trade zone boasts the 7th largest for exports in 2019. We are the 25th largest for imports in 2019. And the companies using our foreign trade zone received over 13 million in duty savings during 2020. You're in the business of saving money, and we are here to provide you with the ability to do just that and to have great profits. So getting started, ask yourself the question, is this foreign trade zone for my company? Our suggestion is that you speak with an established custom broker who will evaluate your plans and assess the potential FTZ benefits. A user versus an operator. Okay. If you decide to continue with the process of joining our foreign trade zone, one of the first things to consider is whether to join the program as an FTZ user or operator. An operator is an entity directly responsible to CBP, Customs Border and Protection, for the operations within the foreign trade zone, within their particular foreign trade zone warehouse. The operator is responsible, among other things, for the FTZ's operators bond and maintain an inventory control and record keeping system. That means if you decide to become an operator in a foreign trade zone, you will have to be responsible for getting your own ICRS system, which has to be approved by customs, and your own bond. On the other hand, a user is an entity that uses the zone under the representation of an operator for storage, handling, processing, and manufacturing of merchandise in zone status. Usually, the user is the entity that requires a permit to admit, process, and remove merchandise. An operator may authorize a user to maintain its own inventory system. And as I said before, you're responsible for reporting to customs. Broward County is both a grantee and an operator for the FTZ number 25. Therefore, we can either sponsor you into the program where Broward County will act as a grantee and you as the operator, or represent you, in which case Broward County will be the operator and you be the user. Which track is right for you? We have a fast track and we have a normal track. The fast track is, if you're looking for an already designated site, we can provide you with a list of companies where you can lease space from directly with the owners. This is going to save you time in your application process, as these sites already exist. So if you might have site one, for example's sake, and this site one has many warehouses, it's already established as a site. So if you choose to go that route, you just have to submit an application. The normal track is, you would have, outside of that, you will have to identify a suitable space in Broward County and file an application with us. And this will take more time. So you don't like any of the designated sites and you have a special place that you want to get into, that will take a longer process because that site isn't designated. So it'll take a little more time. And this is how you get started. Once you're ready to move forward, you will provide the following information to us and we will start the process. On your company's letterhead, a letter requesting joining the FTZ 25 as a user, and FTZ designation of your owned or leased premises. Describe in detail the type of activity that you want to occur, the number of jobs and investments you will create or retain, and the various reasons FTZ participation will benefit your company. If your company is not the owner of the premises, a letter on your landlord's letterhead consenting to designate the property for FTZ use as a part of FTZ number 25, including the address of your leasehold, a copy of your lease, a map, site plan, and the acreage at the proposed location, including the meters and bounds description of the property and indicating any existing planned buildings. We can be reached in Port Everglades. Our director is Jorge Hernandez. His email is jorhernandez954-468-3501. I'm sorry, his email address is jorhernandez@broward.org. I can be reached at dyoung@broward.org, 954-468-0216. The Foreign Trade Zone program is a wonderful program to be in. You can save money, you bring your merchandise in, you don't have to pay duties, and that is the biggest thing. It moves quickly from your docks, the airport, into your warehouse. There is no holdup or anything like that. We process, everything is done electronically also. That's a major good news. So please consider joining the Foreign Trade Zone number 25. We have a wonderful staff here. We are willing to work with everyone and get you started. So think about it, check with a custom broker to see if this is for you, and contact us. On the screen here, you will see the website for porteverglades.net, and I gave you the email address for Jorge and myself and our phone numbers. And contact us, and we will give more in-depth information. So I turn it over to Mr. Douglas, and if Robert would like to say a few words, you may go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Donna. We appreciate you being here with us this morning, giving us all that valuable information for Port Everglades. I know you do have with you today Mr. Robert Barcelo. He is the manager of the zoning in Port Everglades. Am I correct, Mr. Barcelo?
Actually, I'm in the business development department for the port. I essentially handle, marketing for the cargo section of the port, and travel extensively throughout Latin America and other parts in efforts to drive more cargo through the port. And adding to Donna's presentation, which, by the way, was very good, very comprehensive. The benefits of having the FTZ close to the port, and not only so much the port, but you have an airport and you've got all of the logistics connectivity that South Florida offers. I have to throw rail connectivity in there. There is a rail facility at the port, which in these days of heightened sustainability play an important factor in us being able to take trucks off the road and move them more sustainably and lessen our footprint, our carbon footprint in the transportation industry, which is very much in the minds of everyone these days. But the listeners here, it's good for them to know that if they are looking to develop their market access to Latin America, we are uniquely positioned to be able to assist you in that endeavor, simply because of the wealth or the extensive roster of carriers that call in and out of the port, and as well as airlines coming out of FLL and the various trucking companies that do service South Florida. We are uniquely, and I'm saying, when I say we, I'm obviously saying Port Everglades, but in a macro sense, South Florida is very uniquely positioned to handle all sorts of transportations, not only to Central America, but the Caribbean as well. As a matter of fact, almost 35% of the business that comes in and out of the port is Caribbean-based business. Latin America as well. Latin America is almost 25%. So these are areas that we are very well positioned to assist and facilitate transportation for your listeners here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that information. We have 3 questions for you, but you answered one. You answered one of them already when you, the question was, how many markets do you entertain? And you just said it. You said Latin America, Central, and Caribbean. So is there any more markets? That's pretty much it?
That's from a cargo standpoint. One of the areas that the Foreign Trade Zone is very active in is the warehousing and distribution of all the goods that go on all the many cruise ships that call the port. Port Everglades is the 3rd largest cruise port in the world, moving an average of about 3.9 million passengers a year. How that bit of information translates to possibilities or the benefits of using a foreign trade zone. All the goods that are consumed on these ships are put on here at the port, from perfumes, from liquor, anything and everything you eat on the ships. That presents a very viable commercial proposition for the listener or for the person who's looking to look at Port Everglades or Broward in general. And as far as, well, where do I position my business? Should I, go Central Florida? Should I go somewhere else? We do have all that business activity that complements or heightens the benefits that the foreign trade zone brings into the foreground.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. One more question. Presenters want to know where can they learn more about doing business with Port Everglades?
Where can they? I didn't hear where can they learn?
Where can participants want to know where can they learn more about doing business with Port Everglades?
Well, it all depends what kind of business they're looking to do. We are a landlord port. Essentially, what in layman's term is we develop land and we put it out through our bids through the various terminal operators that work here at the port. So they are the ones that actually do handle the day-to-day cargo, and not only cargo, but there's petroleum that comes in and out of the port. I don't know if many listeners know, but we supply petroleum for 11 counties in South Florida. We provide jet fuel for the airports down here, MIA, FLL, West Palm, Perry Airport. All of that fuel is supplied through Port Everglades, and that fuel comes in, as a matter of fact, under the FTZ. Correct me if I'm wrong, Donna. All that fuel comes in under the FTZ program, resulting in great financial benefits to the petroleum industry. We have automobiles. Behind me, you can see all the containers that we move in and out of the port. We do an average of 1.1 million containers a year. And we also, within that spectrum of business, we do a lot of perishable cargo. A lot of the produce that you buy at your local supermarket, if it wasn't grown in Florida or brought in from other states, chances are it was brought in through Port Everglades. We are the ports. We are the state. We are Florida's leading port for perishable cargo. So going back to your core question, it all depends, what kind of business they're looking to do. We're very diverse in what we do here, and that is in fact a blessing. Especially coming out of the pandemic, a lot of ports just relied on cruise and cargo. We've got such a wide array of services and products here that has, basically allowed the port to fare relatively well compared to other ports coming out of the pandemic. They can contact Donna, they can contact me, but again, it all depends on what they have in mind. I'm sorry I've given you such a complex answer to such a simple question, but I think it's good for the person who asked the question or the entity that asked the question to know what goes on here, and if in fact they can do business with a port.
Okay, thank you. Well, Donna, one last question for you. Participants want to know, will you make your wonderful presentation available for us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Well, we appreciate having both of you guys here with us today as you enlighten us on Port Everglades and trading through Port Everglades. Thank you so much for being here, and have a great day, guys. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you for the opportunity to address your public.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. Enjoy the rest of the show.